In the past 12 months, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on YouTube ads. During that time, I've figured out the marketing strategies that the top 1% of realtors don't want you to know in order to run banger YouTube ads. So that's why in this video, I'm going to review everything you need to know in order to create your first successful YouTube ads campaign without wanting to pull out your hair, waste hours recording, or figure out, learn, and analyze the ads manager. We're going to cover how to structure your funnel, how to create banger offers and lead magnets, my 3-step system for creating viral ads, how to set up your ad account, how to budget your campaigns, and how to A/B test your way to high performance. This way, you can see my entire process for creating YouTube ads from start to finish and replicate my exact system. By the end of this video, my promise to you is that you will have everything you need in order to set up a high-performing campaign from start to finish. All right, so to start off, we're gonna be going over the ad account setup, basically just the entire campaign structure and how to run your first successful ad. So first things first, we're going to head on over to ads.google.com. When you do that, you should be taken to the Google Ads homepage. It should look something like this. And then you should see at the top right of your screen, the big blue Start Now button. My webcam might be covering it, but that's where you want to go. So just click Start Now. You're then going to be redirected here. Just click New Google Ads Account, create new account. And then from here, you're going to be sent to here. And then from here, just click Create Your First Campaign. It's going to ask you for your business name. For realtors, just put in your name, first and last. That should be fine. Next, you're going to want to just put in your website URL. To be honest, I don't even know why they ask you for this in the beginning. For me, I'm just going to put the website that I use to host my clients' videos. For you, just put your MLS page, to be honest, your About page, wherever your website is. This is not really relevant. Click Next. Okay, so now from here, Google does change up the interface quite frequently, rather. So just click Next. I mean, none of this really matters. And then from here, just skip this as well. You don't need to worry about this. For your goals, this is actually going to be setting up conversion tracking. We'll talk about that in a later video because it gets pretty in-depth. So just click Skip for now. And then for this, you're just going to want to choose your campaign type, which is going to be video. But actually, we're going to be doing this after we set up the account. So just click Skip, leave campaign creation, put in your credit card information, billing information, rather, click continue, and then it's going to send you to the home page for Google Ads. I'm not going to put in my credit card information right now because for the sake of this video, so I will meet you as soon as I get to the home page. All right, so now that we're in the home page, you should see something that looks like this. Google's interface always updates, but it should look like this. If you're watching this within like within the first few weeks of the upload of this video, you should be good. But I can't guarantee it's going to look the same, which is probably why I'll have to make a new video during that time. But anyway, so now that we're at the home page, to create your first campaign, you can either click the new campaign button here, or you can go to campaigns here. For simplicity's sake, just click the new campaign button. From here, you're just going to want to click leads for the campaign objective rather. And then from here, just click continue. Like I said, we're going to go over conversion tracking later in another video, which, by the way, if I didn't explain, is essentially just Google's way of tracking where a lead came from, which campaign, within which ad group, within which ad. From here, you're just going to click video for the campaign type, and then click continue. From here, you'll be directed to actually something called a demand gen campaign. So Google is now wanting people, and they're going to push people into demand gen campaigns, which are slightly different than just regular video campaigns. But we're going to be going over this a little bit later in the video. So just, if you want to just learn about demand gen, or you've already watched this video before, just skip to that part. But for now, we're just going to click switch to video campaign. This is the standard UI interface for the video campaign. So what you're going to want to do here is first name the campaign. I tend to name the campaign your first, last name, YouTube ads, whether you're targeting sellers or buyers, which audience type you're doing, which lead magnet you're providing, and then the date. And I believe that's everything. So I'm just going to show you what that would look like right now. Okay, so this is exactly what it looks like. Just first, last name, just put your first and last name, YouTube ads, whether you're targeting sellers or buyers, put that here. What audience type you're going to be choosing, which we're going to break down in a minute. What lead magnet you're also going to be providing within this campaign, which we're also going to break down later in the video. And then the location, and then month, day, and year. So going back into here, just to go over a little bit about the campaign structure, at the ad account level, YouTube ads uses something called CBO, which is campaign budget optimization. Essentially, what this means is that the budget is placed at the campaign level, the highest level, and it's distributed to the ad group or groups if there are multiple according to the algorithm. So essentially, what that means is that it's very important to choose how you're going to structure your campaign in order to get and yield the best results. But we'll go over that in a little bit. And as you can see here, for the campaign level, there are different campaign types as we went over. There's search, display, video, shopping. Obviously, we're doing video ads because, we're doing YouTube ads. And then there's different campaign goals, which we also went over: leads, sales, website traffic. Obviously, we're looking for leads. There's location targeting, bidding strategy, devices, and so on. So we're going to go over that right now. So first, what you're going to want to do is your location should look something like this. But you're going to want to choose enter another location, and you're going to want to put in your specific location. So for example, I'm located in Charleston, South Carolina, so that's where I'm going to choose. And there actually are two different options. So there's the DMA regions, or the metro area, or just your regular city. Unless you want to just target your city, I always recommend that you include the broader range or the metro area of your location, simply because it can help Google determine who's the ideal client prospect much faster than if you were to just use your regular city with the less population. So that's what we'll do. For this, you can also target multiple locations as well. You can also add locations in bulk as well. Like, let's say, for example, you want to add like the locations surrounding me: Somerville, Ladson, for example. You can just do that. And as you can see, you can click target all, or you can exclude them as well, but we're just going to target them. And then as you can see, they're also located within the metro area, to be honest with you, so it doesn't really make a difference. But if you want to add multiple locations, you have the option. Another cool thing is that you have something called radius targeting. So let's say you have a specific coordinate or address. For example, I'm trying to think. King Street is a famous street in Charleston. So what you can do is you can include a 20-mile radius around King Street itself, which should be somewhere like along here. I think it's, regardless, in here somewhere. And what's really cool about this is that you can get as granular, if you go King Street, as a 1 mile radius around King Street. So as you can see here, we're a 1 mile radius around King Street, which is pretty crazy. You can get really granular. You can target certain locations, certain neighborhoods, and certain sub-niche groups within your area. So that's basically the targeting aspect. We're just going to leave this, to be honest, as a location. We're going to use Charleston for this example, and we'll use the metro area. That's what I would typically do. Next, we're going to move on to languages. If your area is predominantly English speaking, just leave it at English. If you have all languages, honestly, just choose English here. If you have a predominantly Spanish-speaking area, you can do English and Spanish. If you really want to just target Spanish, that's cool too, but I would recommend adding English in there anyway, because the US is majority English. So that's basically all you need to do for languages. For bidding strategy, you're going to want to leave it on maximize conversions to start every campaign. Target CPA is target cost per action, and this is the amount of money it takes in order for you to convert a lead. So if you're looking to cheapen your cost per conversion, once you have enough data in your campaign, that's when you can finally use target CPA. But for right now, because you're just starting out, leave it on maximize conversions, call it a day. For your daily budget, this is very important. Google needs a certain amount of data in order to actually be able to figure out who your ideal client prospect is. And in order to do that, the minimum budget I would spend per day is $15. To be honest with you, for my clients, I tell them to spend $20 in order to yield results, but you can get results with as low as $15 a day. And even as you can see, Google now is asking you to go higher, like 22.95. Obviously, they just want your money. So you can start with 20. That'll be completely fine. Just for OCD's sake, I'm going to leave it at 30. And then from here, you can leave all this stuff alone. And you actually want to go down to something called additional settings here. And for here, click on devices and set specific targeting for devices. This is very important. So uncheck TV screens. The reason for this is in order for someone to convert, like let's say someone sees your ad on YouTube on their TV, they'd have to scan a QR code on their phone in order to get redirected to your landing page, where they would have to then fill out their information. Way too much work. I've never really seen any results come from this, so I just leave it off. You can also turn off tablets as well if you really want to get conservative. I leave them on because I have seen results come from tablets, and I think iPads do count as tablets, so I personally leave this on, but if you really want to start out with just tablets, that's fine. And mobile phones, just to let you guys know, is the highest converting device type, but I would leave that both on, and I would honestly just leave tablets on as well, just for the sake of getting as many people as possible with the amount of budget that you have. So everything else here is good, except for in video enhancements, you actually want to turn these two options here off. So the first one is get shorter versions of your video generated by Google. So what this is going to do is it's literally going to chop your video and it's going to put it on, for example, YouTube Shorts if your video is shorter than, or rather longer than 60 seconds. And if your hook is, if your video is longer than 60 seconds, and they decide to cut out your hook, I mean, your creative's screwed. 80% of success comes down to the hook. And 80% of the success of the entire YouTube ads comes down to your creative itself. But if you don't have a good hook, if you're not having the hook in general in the video, it's going to be trash. So make sure to turn this off. And I also turn off get vertical and square versions of your video because it can cut off your head. It can cut off the captions. I consider everything in the video as important as possible to leave in order to maximize client retention rate. So just leave these two off. Next up is the ad group name itself. So for this, you're just going to want to name it the audience type that you're going to be targeting. So let's just go back in here for a minute. So for targeting, this is very important. We'll go back up to ad formats in a second. There are many different types of targeting that Google or YouTube, same thing, allows. And as you can see here, it goes from super niche, like super specific, to hyper target exactly who you're looking for, all the way to very broad targeting capabilities. So starting off with data segments, this is for things like remarketing campaigns where you can literally take existing website visitors that have submitted their email and YouTube viewers, YouTube subscribers. You can take their information and emails and retarget them. And that's pretty cool. Obviously you can have I recommend like a $5 a day budget for retargeting. But don't do that now. Obviously, if you don't have any data, I wouldn't start with that. Next is custom segments. This, you can input certain keywords that people have been recently searching. You can check the websites they've been recently searching, check their search history. It targets very specifically the ideal client prospect for selling and or buying, but the market size is relatively low for this. Next, we have in-market audiences, which is slightly broader. This is what I start doing for most clients. This essentially has something called life events, which I'm going to show you in this video. Essentially what that is it groups specific people in based on what Google thinks is someone who's ideal for purchasing or selling their home soon. We're going to break that down in a minute. Then there's interest/affinity, which are basically very similar to custom segments, but it's keywords that are things that are not only keywords that you input, are also what Google thinks are related to the keywords that you inputted as well, which is even broader than in-market audiences. And lastly, you have demographics, which are like age brackets, household income, and gender, which you can also target. For the sake of this video, I think we're just going to go over in-market audiences and interest/affinity. I can even show you demographics real quick, but we'll make a targeting tutorial separately and break each of these down in depth to show you the best practices for this. But for right now, if you're just starting out, honestly, in-market audiences is going to be perfect for you. I'm going to give you the sauce. So let's just jump back into the targeting aspect. From here, since we're going to be doing in-market audiences, we're just going to type in-market, and then we're going to actually choose the audience type. So for this, it's going to be what I consider the greatest for, let's say, sellers, for example, is homeowners and purchasing a home soon as a combo. I'm going to break that down, what that looks like. So for these two audience types within the in-market segment, you're going to click add an audience here, click new audience, and the audience name is just going to be homeowners and purchasing a home soon. And as you can see, if you go to interests and detailed demographics, just type in homeowners. Okay. You see right here, detailed demographics. So these, as you can see here, are people who own a home or apartment they live in, but they may still have mortgages. So check that, definitely. And then you have purchasing a home soon. This is very good for buyers as well. As you can see, it's for people who are preparing to buy a home. So people that are selling a home are also looking to buy a home, most likely. So leaving both of these on as the combo is key. So this is what in-market audiences look like. Just click save here. But before I do that, I'm just going to show you demographic targeting. As you can see here, you can literally choose male, female, unknown, and you can choose an age range as well. And then for additional demographics, you can do parental status and even household income as well. I like to keep this broad for my first campaign. So I would run this as if you're running your first campaign yourself. Leave this all pretty broad, but you do have the option to choose, hyper-specific demographics of people. So we're just going to click save. Since I already have a name like this, obviously it's probably right down here. We can save it. It should look like this. And now you've completed the audience targeting. The other audience type you can do is the custom affinity. So let me just show you what that looks like real quick. So we're just going to call this, for example, let's just say we're targeting sellers affinity. And for this, you're going to want to click custom segments here. So click new segment, and a custom affinity looks like this. So people with any of these interest or purchase intentions. So this is not only people who have searched the keyword you're about to submit, but rather also purchase intentions and interests as well. So seller's affinity is what we'll call this. And you can type in like, keywords that work are what's my home worth, sell my home fast. And there's even, there's recommended options for Google as well. You can literally choose all of these if you want. And Google will, target those specific people. So yeah, that's basically seller's affinity. And we just went over seller's affinity, in-market audiences, and demographics. Like I said, you're going to want to start off with an in-market audience. That's what I typically recommend. And yeah, so moving on to optimized targeting, check this off. It's Google's way of taking your money, basically. So just, leave that off. It says here that you can get like an extra 10 mil impressions. It wastes money, in my opinion. Leave it off. And then last but not least, we have actually creating your video ads themselves. So for this, I'm just going to grab a URL for one of my example videos. I'll be right back, and then we'll go over how it actually works. All right, so now that I've got a link for one of my ads that I've used for my clients, you're just going to want to paste the YouTube URL right into there, and then your video will pop up. So obviously, you have to create your ad. We're going to be going over how to actually create ads later in this video, so just stay tuned for that. And next, what you're going to want to do is input the URL. What the final URL is it's going to be your landing page that you want people to land on in order to actually get conversion. So this is going to be, for example, if you have Follow Up Boss, a landing page built with them, there's Real Geeks, your MLS page, whatever you have that can easily convert leads by getting their contact information, send them there. I'll just, use my parent URL for this, just for the sake of this, housingascent.com. Now for this, what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to put in for the display URL, just the path. So let's say, for example, we're using a lead magnet like an ebook, for example, right? You're just going to want to put ebook in for the display URL. Now, if you're not aware of what a lead magnet is, again, I'm going to be breaking this down later in the video. So again, if you want to skip to that part to learn what a lead magnet is and then come back, feel free to do that. But yeah, so let's just name this ebook. For the call to action, if you have an ebook, you can do things like download. But I always found that learn more is the best call to action type to use, just for some secret sauce. So definitely use that. And then for your headline, this is actually very important. So when you have a landing page, for example, you want to make sure that the headline in your landing page has the exact same headline as the one listed here in Google. So for example, let's say your landing page has something like how to sell your home, find out your home's value now, for example. You'd want that to be the headline, not only in Google or YouTube, but also the headline on your landing page as well. For this, because it's an ebook, let's see, list your home in 14 days can be it. Or get the access the ebook now, for example. Or yeah, we'll just use that for example. That's an example of, a headline that you can use. And then for a long headline, you can do like access the ebook, or you don't even have to put caps, access the ebook on how to get top dollar for your home in 14 days or less. And then you can do the same thing for your description as well. Honestly, I copy and paste this, and that's basically all you need to do. And then for the ad name, let's say you have a specific hook in your video, you would just name it that. So for example, one of my hooks are, if you're a home buyer in area, listen up. So you can even abbreviate that to like listen up, right? And then that would be the ad name, and you can just create your first campaign. So you have the video, you have the landing page URL, you have the call to actions, the headline, and the long headline plus description. And that's basically what you would do. So yeah, let me just make sure the campaign creates correctly. And I have to pause this because I don't want it to start charging me now. And yeah, so that's basically an example of how to actually set up your first ads campaign within YouTube. So just to go back to this, I would actually have, within my ad group, I would have 5 different ads. So instead of me just doing that one ad, I would add 4 other videos. And with this, you just want to have 5 different hooks within that ad group. These are going to differentiate the videos between each other. And the reason you want to have different hooks is to touch on different pain points from different people in the market. And it just adds variation so you can scale the winners and then pause the losers. Last but not least, we're just going to go over the ad formats. So your videos are going to show on all these different sources. So you have skippable in-stream, in-feed, non-skippable in-stream, bumper, and YouTube Shorts. The selling point of skippable in-stream is that users can skip, so you can understand who's actually interested and who's watching your videos. It serves on the YouTube videos, obviously, as we stated, the GVP in-stream and the GVP app. For this, there's no real max length, but I recommend like 1 minute, 30 seconds to 3 minutes. So yeah, then you have in-feed. This shows to highly engaged users in the discovery and searching phase. And this shows on the YouTube home feed and YouTube search. You don't have to have a max length for this. Then you have non-skippable in-stream. So this would be the same thing as like the in-stream ads, again, that show before like a long-form YouTube video that you want to watch. But the difference is they can't skip the video. So you're going to want to make this video like 15 seconds max because you don't want to like bother people. Next, you have bumper, which essentially is a quick message that can't be skipped to raise awareness or reinforce other ads. This shows in YouTube videos, GVP in stream, and GVP app. And this you want the ad to be about 6 seconds max. And then you have YouTube Shorts, which Google will take your skippable in stream and it will cut it and then put it on YouTube Shorts. So this will show to highly engaged users in a mobile optimized experience. Obviously, it just shows in YouTube Shorts. Under 60 seconds is recommended. So now we've gone over how to actually create your first successful ads campaign. And next up, we're going to go over actually the funnel structure and the entirety of how that works. All right, so now that we've completed the actual ads campaign on the back end, let me take you through the buyer's or seller's journey, or the lead rather, their journey through the entire funnel, just so you can get a better understanding. So now, once you've successfully set up the campaign, you're going to want to have, a landing page in place, a booking VSL page, and a thank you page. But let's start off in the beginning. So here's why. When you have a lead, interested prospect, how they're going to be essentially seeing your ad in the first place is watching, for example, YouTube videos that are relevant towards, your search topic, or they're going to be inputting keywords on Google. Like it doesn't even have to be, for example, that same day. It could be like the day before, day after, a couple days before, a couple days after. For example, for sellers, they'd be typing in, what's my home worth, sell my home fast, homes value in city, homes, for sale, or homes value in city. And then from there, YouTube then and Google's AI then instantly detects them as a valuable prospect. And from there, they then see your ad on YouTube. They're going to see that you have a value-driven ad that's also building rapport and authority. And then from there, they're going to be redirected to a landing page that you want to set up in order to host a lead magnet. So from here, you're just going to submit your first name, email, phone number if you're a lead. From there, they'll instantly be sent, like for example, an ebook. In this example, this is one of my lead magnets, how to sell your area home for above list price in as little as 7 days. They'll get that instantaneously. At the same time, they're going to be redirected to a booking page. I highly suggest you put this here because I've noticed 95% of the leads that book a call answer, within the call, and they're highly motivated to work with you. And about 10% of the leads in total lead volume, actually book a call with you that submit their information on the form here. So definitely leave that there. This is going to build that trust with them even more. And then just have a simple thank you page thanking them for, downloading the lead magnet. And basically here's just below, here are some of my testimonials or just case studies, whatever you want to put down there. Keep it simple, keep it sweet. That's basically the entirety of the funnel structure itself. And the philosophy behind this whole thing is that once opting in, you have about 20 minutes of the lead's full attention. And this is something called the mere exposure effect. And there's different exposure, when actually generating the leads that we have implemented here on the funnel structure. So for example, exposure number 1 is the thank you page. This is the redirect after opt-in. This is, obviously shown to them within 20 minutes. Exposure number 2 is the lead magnet and delivery email. This is delivered immediately. Exposure number 3 is the email flows. These are delivered after 5 minutes. These are just follow-up emails, making sure you got the ebook okay, or for example, or, here's their home's value, like make sure you get that out to them fast. And then exposure number 5 is a phone consultation. Obviously, contacted within 5 to 15 minutes, ideally is the optimal approach for this. Even if they book a call with you, you can still call them up. Just say, hey, I just saw you booked in a call. Are you available at X time? And that'll further qualify the leads. In order to actually, have this funnel structure working, you need to know how to create lead magnets themselves. So let's just go over offers and lead magnets right now. So essentially, why are lead magnets so important? Lead magnets' jobs are to capture leads, nurture the leads, and unqualify leads that aren't worth it. They promote your sales mechanism, and they book appointments for you. There needs to be a natural progression from your ads towards a low barrier next step. Pitching directly, book a call, or work with me isn't really going to appeal to 95% of the market who aren't at the stage of hiring an agent or have not built enough trust with you to do so in the first place. I mean, think about it, like lead magnets serve as an upgrade from your content so they can give a complete guide to solving a prospect's problem, building even more trust, and allowing you to capture their contact info and build the trust. This way, they don't have to commit to talking with anybody. They can do this on their own time, and that gives them this feeling of trust, because everyone nowadays is all into high pressure sales, and everyone's tired of it, to be honest. So this is a way of just alleviating that issue, and getting a high qualified lead as easy as possible. So step number one in creating a high value lead magnet is to choose your audience. So you're going to want to select the niche audience that you can specifically cater to with your lead magnet. Things like first-time home buyers, downsizers / empty nesters, move-up home buyers, luxury, vacation, second home. Choose your audience, basically, right? And in your service, you're going to have multiple subcategories, which are these subcategories, as I just stated. Step number two is to identify the problem. So each individual lead magnet should solve a narrow problem. So for example, there's not enough homes on the market, mortgage rates are high, and homes are less affordable. I don't know how much I can afford. I don't know how much my home's worth. I don't know which home improvements are worth it. I don't know. So within that lead magnet, these are all the questions that, someone would have, for example, with preparing to list their home, which we just went over some of the pain points before. But for example, how do I prep my home to sell? What are some quick ways to increase my home's value? Can I just list it by myself? They come to the conclusion, this whole listing thing's pretty difficult. And if you can solve all their different questions in one easy to read document, they come to the conclusion, I might as well just hire this guy. And so from there, you're going to go into step three, which is choose a solution. So your lead magnet should completely solve a narrow problem with a single solution. So some examples would be reveal a problem through an audit, analysis, inspection. Another example would be like a free trial, which is a free home prep consultation. And another example would be like step one to a multi-step problem. Like an example home value is step one of selling. So you can have different methods of choosing a solution through like a PDF download, a checklist, a comparison chart, a calculator, like a workshop, a quiz, a survey, training video. All these different kinds of methods are different ways in order to actually solve their problem and have like the actual downloadable content within an easy to read document or piece of content. And finally, step number four is the format. So the intro is going to be, broken down into the hook. You want headlines and images in there, a 60-second timer, essentially meaning, can you read the hook and the beginning of your entire lead magnet within the first 60 seconds? And this is going to ensure that you keep your first impressions. And so next is the setup. You want to talk about you, about your team, the results they'll achieve, a table of contents, just laying out everything that you have within the lead magnet, and then proof that it actually works. So sections of the lead magnet would be like a simple subject line, intro to giving context, proof that it works, then proof / case study, and then an open loop / CTA. So all these, combined are just basically the format of the lead magnet to ensure that you have a highly optimized, easy to read document or piece of content that is going to actually intrigue and build trust with that lead up front. And the last thing to do is just run it by the lead magnet checklist on step number 5. These are the questions I ask myself. Does your lead magnet provide a complete solution to a specific problem? Would you actually pay $100 for the lead magnet? Does your lead magnet have more than one slide? Does your lead magnet have more than one graphic or image per slide? Does your lead magnet promote other lead magnets? And does your lead magnet have a call to action or another conversion mechanism or your calendar? The key here is that your lead magnet needs to have all of these, or it's wrong and you need to fix it immediately. So now that we've covered basically the funnel structure, generating leads, the actual campaign setup, let's move on after also offers and lead magnets into actually creating the ad creatives themselves. So step 1 is going to be research when actually doing the ad creative. I break this into 2 segments. So number 1 is gathering assets, and number 2 is taking those assets to sculpt your ideal customer profile. So starting off with gathering assets, the first thing you're going to want to do is go to like popular realtors' videos and posts. What I would do is like look for the common questions that they're asking and look at the feedback that they're giving the people who are posting the videos. Next is to go to like subreddits or Quora questions for your local market and or service. And this is very good. They got some like really in-depth, really niche specific questions that can be answered in here. Really high value stuff. Look for some case studies. So essentially post your own case studies rather. Look at the outcomes you've achieved for yourself and your clients. And then number 4 is using AI. So what I would do is use different AI engines in order to get like your ideal copywritten ad structure. But what I would input in all these different ad engines would be the same type of script. And that would be like, you're a marketing strategist, create a detailed profile of my target audience for your product slash service, include demographics, pain points, and buying motivations. I particularly use ChatGPT for this, but you can use, there's a couple AI programs that I also recommend, one being like Claude and another one being something called Perplexity. You can check those out, but I'm not going to get in depth to that right now. So once you've gotten all the assets, now you can sculpt your ideal customer profile. So with like the AI information, all the different questions that have been asked, essentially, number one is identify the pain points of the customer. So what are their biggest frustrations and challenges? Number two, look at their dreams. So what are their dreams and desires? Then move on to objections. So like what hesitations or barriers hold them back? And then four is language. So like what terms, phrases, and slang do they use? Step two is going to be actually scripting the ad itself. I use a formula called the hook story close, where within the first 5 to 15 seconds is the hook. Here you want to address the benefits of your service without the pain and desire. From there, you're going to move on into the story. This is about or the body. This is about 15 to 60 seconds. This is going to basically promote your angle or selling point / idea. And then finally for the close, which is the last 60 to 90 seconds, just your call to action. Also what I like to call twisting the knife, just to really emphasize what you're pushing to get the leads to take that next step. So starting off with the hook, this is going to be your first 0 to 30 seconds of the video. One thing I forgot to mention is that 80% of your entire YouTube ads funnel comes down to the ad, and 80% of the ad success comes down to the hook. So for this, you're just going to want to take your market research, brainstorm 10 hooks. Here are some like winning formats that have worked for me. So have you ever wondered how much money your home is worth in 2025? Homeowners have been selling their homes the wrong way this whole time. That's a shocking statement. The first one's a question hook. We have a storytelling hook. Like I went from $150,000 in debt to over $5 million in just 3 years. This is my story, and so on. You can like take a screenshot of this, to be honest. Check it out. You can like honestly model the same thing for yourself. And honestly, you can also use the winners that I've also used, which are like area home sellers. You won't believe this. If you're an area homeowner, listen up. The number one thing I tell every area homeowner thinking about selling is this. And honestly, just take a screenshot of this too. I don't feel like going over each one of them. So next is the body or story. So this varies from like 30 to 150 seconds. This is highly dependent on your lead magnet or offer and your value proposition and the storyline of any given ad. So take your research that you got, like specifically from the AI and the subreddit or Quora questions, and then create 2 to 4 body variations. So some winning formats are like social proof or credibility. Number 2 is like teach. So you want to offer you want to demonstrate a problem and then offer the solution. Give them the what and not the how. And number 3 is like unique mechanisms and benefits as well. And finally, for the close, this is going to be the final 10 to 30 seconds. Here, the goal is to just re-engage and prompt the viewer to take the next step, as stated before. Depending on the length of your ad, you can have 1 to 5 call to actions throughout your ad. To be honest, I would recommend more call to actions. It's just like reinforces them to take that next step. Some winning formats are like urgency / scarcity and twisting the knife. You can also do like call to action and then close the video as well as a different format. So here I offered 6 banger YouTube ad frameworks. So number 1 is the pain, agitate, solve PAS system. Essentially, number 1 is pain, remind your audience of the pain they feel. Number 2 is to agitate, make them feel it on a deeper level. And then number 3 is to solve that problem. So introduce how your product solves their pain. I have the feel, felt, found, FFF framework as well. Number 1, I know how it feels, pain. 2 is I felt the same, create like resonance with the audience. And number 3 is here's what I found that cured it. So introduce your offer / service. And you know what? You can also just take a screenshot of this as well. Basically, as you can tell here, it's like a 1, 2, 3 kind of model. It works very, very well. It's worked for, the past, 2.5 years of me working with my current realtor clients. So feel free to just screenshot that, model that for yourself. So now we're going to be moving on into what I find extremely exciting and what I've been wanting to show you guys is demand gen campaigns. So we're going to go over what demand gen campaigns are, why they've been considered better than traditional YouTube ads themselves, or video ads rather, and just some of the features that make it better. So number 1, what actually are demand gen campaigns? As you can see here, essentially demand gen is replacing video action campaigns, and advertisers are able to seek inspiration, conduct research, and make online purchase decisions on the most browse surfaces across YouTube and Google. On average, advertisers who run video ads with demand gen saw similar conversions to their video action campaigns at a similar cost per action. And adopting a multi-format strategy, you'll drive even better performance. Now, here's the key. Advertisers who upload video and image assets to demand gen saw 20% more conversions at the same cost per action than those who uploaded video assets only. So, in April 25, the option to create new video action campaigns will be completely removed. They're going to be replaced by demand gen. And starting in July, existing video action campaigns are going to be converted into demand gen campaigns. So essentially, by July, there's going to be no more video action campaigns. So this is going to be an updated video. It's going to get you ready for this new demand gen. I'm also just going to make a separate video on it. So I am going to kind of hover over everything that has to do with demand gen, also because I don't have the full features yet, just simply because only certain accounts, for whatever reason, Google is giving access to the beta version of it. So we're going to be making an in-depth tutorial as soon as I've tested some more data. But anyways, so essentially, just quickly before we go over actually setting up the process, where your ads show is really the main difference in demand gen besides the targeting options. So essentially, now with demand gen campaigns, your ads are now on Discover, Google's Discover page, and Gmail. And along with Google Display Network, which, you know, most people didn't really use, but now it's going to be defaulted to be shown there. And essentially, they're also going to be shown in in-feed images and shorts images as well. So your business logo, instead of just a video, will be shown there, just to get yourself across to more different areas. And it's going to be targeting different people, different pain points, different buyer types and seller types, all that kind of stuff. So essentially, going back into here, the first key difference and feature that has been added back are something called lookalike audiences. They had this in like 2022, 23. And, you know, they took it out for whatever reason. They're obviously bringing it back. They knew it was a better feature that they shouldn't have removed in the first place. So essentially what they are is lookalike segments are built on your first party's customer data, allowing you to reach new audiences similar to your existing customers. So what this means is, you know, you can you can narrow your targeting by 2.5, 5, or 10% of people in your campaign's targeted locations. You know, I recommend testing all three of these percentages to determine which one performs best. But here's the key. You can upload your customer lists, email lists, application lists, book a call list, anybody that submitted their email or given their email to you. Google's going to take that. It's going to analyze what type of person they are, and it's going to then show your ads to effective lookalike audiences. So someone that's ideally matching that customer profile as well. So this is insane. This is something that, you know, Google should have never taken out, and they're adding it back. Along with that, performance is many advertisers are also seeing strong results across client accounts with these new targeting options. 20% actually more conversions according to Google's own data. The next key feature is called placement targeting. So essentially, this feature allows for extremely precise targeting of specific YouTube content. So something like channel targeting, you can target your ads to appear before videos on specific YouTube channels. Video targeting, you can select individual videos where you want your ads to appear. Implementation, under the content settings, you can select placements and search for specific channels or videos. And then strategic advantage, this is going to allow you to place your ads in front of audiences already engaged with content directly relevant to your business, which we already talked about. So we're just going to be going over the campaign process now. Essentially, we're going to break it down. It's only going to be like a quick overview. I'm not going to get into the in-depth yet as I don't have enough data, but let's just jump right into this. So I'm in like one of my demo accounts, and right here, essentially same way as creating the initial video ads campaign, just click new campaign. You're going to click leads. But instead of clicking video, click continue first. Instead of clicking video, you're going to click demand gen. If you even click video now, it automatically defaults when you click continue to a demand gen campaign, as you can see here. And you can switch to video conversion campaign, but we're just going to leave it, obviously, because we're doing demand gen now. Campaign name, we can leave this the exact same structure as the previous. I'm just going to leave this alone just because we're skimming over this. You're obviously going to want to choose conversions. For conversion goals, you're obviously going to also want to add a conversion tracking mechanism into the ad, which we're going to go over in a separate video because that's a whole in-depth breakdown and it's a lot of back-end work that just isn't relevant right now. Next is target cost per action. So this, you only want to set this when you have enough campaign data in order to know how much your cost per conversion is. We're just going to skip this for now. Daily budget. Like I said, $20 a day is going to be solid. You can go as low as $15. Google's now saying that, you know, $23 a day is the minimum budget for this specific location. but we're just going to leave it on 20 for now. Honestly, we'll leave it on 30 just because, you know, OCD. And you can actually set now you can set location and language to the campaign level. So I'm just going to enable this. I would suggest doing this unless your specific ads are tailored in different languages and you want to target different locations for different ads. I think it's most simple to just leave at the campaign level the location targeting and the language targeting at the highest level. So for this, obviously, you're just going to set another location. We went over how to do this. So, you know, you can check back previously in the video if you want to learn how the location targeting actually works. Also, same with languages. English, we're going to leave it on English for now. And for devices, again, same thing as we talked about last time. Definitely check off TV screens. I would also, you know, debatably, you can leave off tablets if you want to really be conservative on your money, but I would just leave it on because I have seen some results if you have that extra budget. Ad schedule, leave that alone. Campaign URL options, we're going to talk about that in a different video. And then Google Video Partners. Existing big marketers right now that I've been talking to and in contact with have been saying to leave this on. So I'm going to recommend to you, as for now, leave on Google Video Partners for all video ads. Next up at the ad group level, turn off optimized targeting. As of right now, I have never seen good results coming from optimized targeting. It's almost like Google's trying to take your money with this setting. Turn that off. Highly recommend. But now, I just, for some reason, I skipped over audience, but this is now what you're able to do is create an audience with the lookalike segments. So you can name this like book a call. So anybody that's booked a call and has submitted their email, you can essentially add your data segments. And from here, just add in your segments. I don't have any, obviously, because I'm on the example account. So we don't have any of that. But anyway, that's what it's going to look like. This is called your seed list. And then you can also target the locations in which you want your lookalike segment to include. So let's just do, obviously, the United States, because that's where I'm from. And that's basically lookalike segments for you. We already went over exclusions and demographics. Additional demographics, we have all of that is covered in the previous setup earlier in this video. And add group URL options, we're going to leave that alone. And then for the ad, this is what's a little bit different now. So you can actually choose carousel image ads, single image ads, but because we're doing YouTube ads, you just want to leave it on video ad. The exact same steps are going to be applying to the ad level. So you're going to obviously input your URL. You're going to actually input the video itself. So to do that, you're just going to paste the URL, the YouTube link, unlist that video, make sure it's unlisted. And then for the final URL, just make sure that you put your landing page URL there. Again, already discussed in the previous section of the video, so go check that out. I'm going to keep saying it over and over. And then from there, you're going to also want to add a logo now for demand gen. So for this, just add in, like, if you're a realtor, just add in your profile picture that you've uploaded on realtor.com, Zillow, whatever. That's going to be good enough. And then from here, you just want to uncheck video enhancements as well. Definitely uncheck get shorter versions of your videos. You don't want Google to optimize the video and let it cut out the hook, because the hook is 80% of the success of your creative. So don't do that. Honestly, I also uncheck the get vertical and square versions of your videos, because it could, like, again, leave out your face, which I already discussed. And then the headlines and descriptions, all this is going to be the same. Call to action. This can be automated now, I guess, but I would just honestly still do a learn more. This has been the best performing call to action. Again, went over that. And now that is basically the entire review of the demand gen campaign. And last but not least, we have media buying and your budgets. So after all this, now we've understood how to actually create the campaigns. We've understood how to create the ads. We've understood everything else behind it. Now you need to understand what budgets you're actually going to be looking for here in the process of media buying in order to finally solidify the actual amount of money that you're going to be spending per month on your ads. So by definition, media buying is the process of purchasing ad space and time on various platforms to reach a specific audience. So essentially, number one, the first metric we're going to want to look at here is average order value. This is essentially what is the cost per closed deal after all fees and stuff like that for realtors. So by definition, it represents the average revenue generated per transaction, indicating sales performance. You're then going to want to figure out the cost per acquisition. This is measuring the cost effectiveness of acquiring new customers. This is going to be about 10% of your average order value. You're then going to want to target the cost per lead. So essentially, obviously, tracking the expense involved in generating the potential sales leads. Then you're going to want to track the lead to booking rate. So it shows the efficiency of converting leads into scheduled appointments when you book a call. And then obviously the conversion rate. It indicates the success rate of turning leads into paying clients. So there are 3 media buying phases. And number 1, we have the initial ads. So this is going to involve launching new test ads and evaluating their performance. This is going to be the first 7 to 14 days after launch. This is going to focus on gathering the initial data. Google needs time to figure out who its ideal customer is. And then from there, this is going to allow for early adjustments to be based on performance metrics. So this period allows for the algorithm to learn effectively. Next is optimization. You're going to want to maintain a consistent budget throughout this phase, continuously refine the account to improve the performance, purge campaigns that fall outside of KPI targets, and launch new campaigns to replace underperforming ones, and focus on ensuring sustained performance over time. Lastly, you're going to want to scale. This phase focuses on increasing the overall campaign budget. This requires launching new campaigns or hypothesis. This will aim to maintain KPI targets at an even higher budget level, and the goal is to expand reach and impact while preserving the efficiency of your campaigns. So, what does this all mean, and what budget should you actually start with? Well, here's some basic YouTube ads metrics for realtors that I've gathered over the 2 years of doing this. Number 1 is a $30 to $50 cost per lead goal. With this, it's about a 5 to 15% opt-in rate, and the cost per acquisition cost per action is $600 to $1,000. 5% cost per value, 1% click-through rate, and a 20% booking rate. So about 20% of the people that opt in, or 20% of that 5 to 15% that opt in, are actually going to book a call with you. So what does this mean practically? Well, we're going to reverse engineer the metrics. So let's say your target revenue per month was about $20,000, and the average deal size or average order value is $10,000. We know that conservatively, your cost per action or acquisition is $1,000. Your average cost value percentage is going to be 5%. Your average cost per lead is $50, and the leads needed per month is about 40. So to generate those amount of leads per month, you'd need about $2,000 in ad spend per month in order to achieve that. So how to allocate the budgets? This is your next step. Essentially, as I stated before, YouTube ads uses campaign budget optimization, meaning the budget is placed at the campaign level and it's distributed to the ad groups or groups, if there are multiple, according to the algorithm. So my preferred structure for this is a 1-1-3-5, meaning a 1 campaign, 1 ad group, and then 3 to 5 ads per campaign structure. Depending on the budget, 2 to 5 campaigns within this structure is ideal. So this is just a visual representation. You have 1 campaign, 1 ad group with 1 audience, and then 3 to 5 different ads within that ad group / audience. So per audience, I like to, as I said, test 1 targeting structure. So we went over this before: custom affinity, custom intent, in-market, etc. If you test multiple targeting options in 1 audience, you won't be able to isolate the one that generates results, and scaling will be pretty difficult. And then the ad structure itself, you're going to want to have 5 to 10 hook variations, 2 body variations, and 1 ad group per body. So for here, you just want to upload 3 to 5 ads per ad group, and then, rotate the ones that aren't winning, scale the ones that are, and then add new ones to replace the ones that we're losing. And basically, now you've completed everything that you need to know as far as running a successful YouTube ads campaign. This is an entire real estate YouTube ads training. Hopefully, I went over everything that is needed in this video. If there's anything that I missed that in depth later down the road. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.